Hello, glad you guys could make it. I'm Guy Kemper. I'm from Versailles or Woodford County. It's up near Lexington. I went to Murray State for a while. When I first went to college, I looked, it wasn't like it is today. You know, I was in high school. I didn't do any visitation. My parents didn't seem to really care. They said, where you want to go? I looked on a map. Murray was the furthest I could go from Louisville. I said, I think I'm going to go to Murray State. And so that's why I came down here. And I had a little too much fun. But I've been doing art for a living since 1983, so 41 years. I never thought I could actually make a living doing art. I thought I was kind of just did it as a lark. I was working as an agronomist. I ended up getting a degree in soil science from UK, and I was going to be a strip mine reclamation person. I came down to Central City to start working, and I was like, there is no way I'm working with these people in this place. So I ended up working as an agronomist for a mining consulting engineering company in Lexington, which is where I stayed after I graduated. And I had a friend that was buying and selling a lot of antique stained glass windows at the time. And he kept trying to get me to go into business with him because he had an antique shop and he was too manic to stay in it. And he said, put a table in there and, you know, you can work and somebody might come in and, you know, give you some business and you keep my shop open. And I had to repair his windows because they inevitably, this was back when stained glass windows were like hot, you know, like literally hot, like a lot of them were stolen. You know, Daryl's Restaurant, TGI Fridays, all these themed restaurants were using stained glass everywhere, all through the restaurants. That was very much the fashion. And so I was always repairing these windows. And I thought, well, yeah, why not? I'll give it a try. I'm 24. You know, I have no real expenses. And I thought, it's probably not going to work, but, you know. So anyway, sure enough, somebody came in, ordered a window, and then you know, got another job. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to get my own place. And I got this total dump in downtown Lexington, which was like a slum at the time, $125 a month, and put a sign on the building, and have more or less been busy ever since. So I was really lucky. It was like the right place at the right time. And this is a big deal with everybody. Your time and place has a huge role that plays in your life and in your career. You know, it's never a good idea to start a career as an artist. That's never a good idea. I mean, the odds are always against you, right? I mean, but that's the way it is. And you know, you have to think about where you should be and what the time is telling you. You know, what are people wanting? What's good? So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'll start showing, like, this is the other time and place thing, is when I started, everybody that was building a house, a nice house, a McMansion, they had these beveled entryways that were just, you know, and there wasn't Home Depot that you went and bought them at. So they needed a stained glass person. So this was money job. This was like, you know, I could do these in my sleep. I did, I don't know, a lot, maybe 100 of these things. Not this. This isn't mine. This is just a picture I never took pictures of them. But you know, I did a lot of these. They paid a lot of bills. And this is one of the things, because this talk is about advice for aspiring artists. So I'm going to try to give you some advice on how maybe you should think about moving forward in your life. And I don't know how to be a studio artist. I've never was a studio artist. I never wanted to be a studio artist. I wanted to make big stuff. I didn't want to make artwork. I wanted to make something bigger than artwork. I wanted to make environments with other people in collaboration. You know, I wanted to do that sort of stuff, architectural work. So I'm an architectural artist. I built this career against, you know, I don't even know how it happened, but like I said, I got a degree in agronomy. I took art classes at Murray State, but I thought there's no way I'm gonna make a living as an artist, so I just put that back. And I wanted to live a simple life. I wanted to live in the country. I wanted to be self-employed. I had these things. So, you know, as you start working, you start thinking, well, you know, these are my goals. This is my plan, my long range. And then this stained glass kind of, you know, looked like it could be a possibility. So, not too long after I opened my shop downtown, a woman came in. They were building a new synagogue in Lexington. And, you know, she saw my sign. She came in. She said, we'd like to talk to you about this. And, you know, it was a great job. This is a menorah, like a Jewish candelabra. So I got a really nice job. I paid, this is important, I paid a really good photographer, the best one in Lexington, to take photos of it. Because without the photo, you're nothing. You have nothing. Don't take your photos yourself, because you need to pay a professional. A mediocre photo of a great piece of art is a mediocre piece of art. So photos, packaging are everything. And it led to more jobs. This is a library and a hospital in Louisville, Heart and Lung Center, Jewish Heart and Lung. Got this through a gallery in Louisville. So I'm starting to build some work, and that job, the Jewish job, I put for like what seemed like an enormous amount of money. I think it was $500 or $1,000. I bought a page in this catalog of architectural artists. It was very slick, very nicely done, and I paid to have a page in that. And then they sent that out to architects and designers around the country. It was called the Guild. And somebody saw that photo, and they said, in Orlando at the airport, and they said, you know, this is kind of like what we have. You know, it's like this long, skinny, you know, long thing. This guy, we should talk to him about it. And they called me, and it was an international competition. And it was really before the internet. So they called me, and they said, would you do this? I said, are you going to pay me? And they said, well, you know, if we picked you as a possibility, we'll pay you $1,000 to give us a design. So I said, okay, sure. So I got picked. I got shortlisted. I did this design. They liked it, and yeah, it was a really nice job. Notice all of this stuff is leaded. Oh, yeah, I just saw this this past weekend for the first time. It was installed for like 2 years. They knocked out that wall, expanded the concourse, put it in crates. 20 years later, they reinstalled it in a new concourse, and I went and looked at it last weekend. It looks a whole lot better. So anyway, this is all leaded, you know, and then when I got that job for Orlando, I was always using German blown glass. It's the best material in the world. There's only one place in the world that makes it, on the Czech border in Germany, Lambert's Glass. And I went over to Germany to the glass factory to talk to them about making this huge order of the blue glass in particular in the center of the piece. And when I was there, I went by this place called Derek's Glass Studios, which in my opinion is still the best fabricating studio in the world for stained glass. And the guy, the owner of the company, took me around to show me some jobs he had done. And he showed me this job. And it completely blew my mind because, you know, stained glass was stained glass. This was painting. And these techniques, they're really ancient techniques mostly. But the way he was working in glass, and he said, man, you are a good artist. You should just paint and let me worry about how to make it. And I was like, yeah, that sounds nice. And he said, and I'm going to make this Orlando airport project for you. I said, no, I'm really looking forward to making this. That thing was 100 feet long. I was insane. I thought I could, you know, that's one of the other things about being an artist. You have to be fearless. You know, you go in, well, I mean, it's just, you know, can you do this? Oh yeah, sure, you know, no problem. You know, you always have the total confidence that you will do it, even if you don't sleep for 3 months. So anyway, he said, no, I'm going to give you a price you can't refuse for this because I want to start working in the United States, and this is the job that's going to introduce me. And so I said, why not? Give me a price. He gave me a price. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. So he made it. And then, okay, from now on, I can do stuff that I can't make. I can design things that I don't have the skill to actually make, which is the German way. In Germany, there are artists and there are fabricators. And they're totally different disciplines. You go to school for art or you go to school to fabricate. You go to school for like 5 years just to fabricate stained glass. Then you apprentice for 2 more years. So when you get out, you are the best in the world, basically. And as an artist, you know, that's what you're good at is painting, designing. You know, that's what an artist does. An artist doesn't have to make this stuff, which is totally different in America. You know, I'm a sham in America because I don't make my own stuff. You know, I'm a fake. But in Germany, no, it's like, you just let me worry about how to make it. So this was like unbelievable. I could start, because I mean, I'm a very good stained glass craftsperson. You know, I know all that really good, but I could start, next job, I drew the lines, the black lines, like, you know, if you do stained glass, you draw black lines and then you color in the lines like you're in a child's coloring book, and then you make it. Well, this time I drew the lines, and when I painted, I didn't use colored pencils, I used paint for the first time, really. And then I just ignored the lines. You know, I just took a brush and just went right across the lines. It's like, wow, that's nice, that's fun. So that's what I started doing. And I got this job, and I did it, and the client, Bellarmine University in Louisville, they loved it. I won the competition. They told me, hey, we're going to do this whole window here. And I said, no, we're not. Because even though I was totally stupid at this time, I still knew enough about architecture. And I still always had this approach that I'm honest. And I said, there's nothing that I'm going to do put in that window that's going to improve that building. What's there already is what you want. He's like, no, we have a generous donor. We want it. And I was like, no, we don't want to do that. The architect, like, almost kissed me. Like, he almost jumped up and kissed me. He was so happy. And that's a double-edged sword. To be honest is especially in America, it's never good to be honest, generally. I've lost a lot of jobs being honest, but I don't know. It's just the way I've always been. I do a lot of architectural models to understand these things because, like I said, I'm making an environment. I'm part of this entire fabric. So if I'm doing this window, you know, an artist draws this rectangle on a piece of paper, canvas, whatever, and then they look at it and they think, well, what do I want to put in there? And then, well, you know, oh, you know, they start. That's an artist works in a vacuum. Art is about me and what I have to say. It's about, you know, it's all about me. But as an architectural artist, it's nothing about me. It's about all this. It's about you. It's about the light, how the sun moves, what you do in here. You know, well, we have a problem right here. We have halation going on, halo effect, because we're giving a presentation. We have light. Well, I need to address that. You know, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about everything else. And after I understand all this other, what I call architectural dynamic, then I draw the rectangle on the paper and I start designing. That's the difference. So I built a lot of models. This is Jacksonville Airport. This is a job I lost. Half the time, this is a terrible thing about being an artist. You fail. I fail 90% of the time. 90% of the time, they like the other person better, who totally sucks, of course, and they lose the money. The donor withdraws. The economy collapses. The Catholic Church implodes. You know, it's like a million things that happen, and half the time you're sabotaged by other people, sometimes out of sheer meanness. Sometimes it's your own friends, your artist friends that steal the job. Sometimes it's your own stupidity. You know, you blow it, you do a terrible presentation, you do a lousy, which is this case. Well, this case I actually got sabotaged by the public art administrator. She totally sabotaged. I got to give my presentation, and she didn't know how to do this. I had it on a stick. She didn't know. It didn't work. She hadn't checked it. So here I am with a room full of people trying to compete against the best people in the country, and she hadn't figured out that part yet, you know. So the guys coming behind me, they had it, but I didn't have it. So what are my odds there, you know? I can't give my presentation. So it's always something, and it could always be worse. Yeah, but you build the model, and then you're in the model. You can stick your head in there. You look around. You think, okay, I just cleared security. I got my ticket. I'm going to go through here. The gate's through there. What am I thinking? What am I going to see? Where should I put it up here? Ooh, that'd be cool. Oh no, maybe no. I think here. I actually did a lousy design for this, and I would have lost anyway. But sometimes that happens. And then I also do sculptures these days too. And I started doing mosaics a few years ago. Anyway, you've probably seen this. I got this off Facebook, but I thought it was so true. The creative process. This is awesome. This is tricky. This is shit. I am shit. This might be okay. Oh my God, this is awesome. And that is like a typical, creative process. So it is. I mean, I do it all the time too. So, when you get to that part where you say, this is, oh my God, this is shit, I can't, just persevere through that. It's probably really good. You just have to, sometimes it is shit. But, okay, Randy, I need this is what I didn't have in Jacksonville. Somebody that knew how to do this. So I'm going to show you, because, thank you. I'm going to show you a little bit about public art process, because there's a ton of money in public art right now. And it's a good way to, you know, and they don't want people like me. I'm not a real artist. I'm like I'm a crafty person, right, to the art world. So they want real artists. They want studio artists for this stuff a lot of times. And they want people that know nothing about anything. They want the guy that just draws because they don't know anything. You know, it used to be architects were involved in this, and there was this old school, you know, feeling about you're making an environment and all that. That's kind of going away. It's now it's all about make the biggest sorest thumb in this window that you can make, that when people walk by, they smack them, smack, smack, and you're like, oh my God, I love it, you know. That's what people want now. They want sound, they want color, they want movement. They want, if you wiggle and shake your butt, you know, the thing wiggles and shakes its butt back at you. That's great. Take a selfie. So, you know, I'm a medievalist. I do stuff that the same way it's been done for 1,000 years, more or less, 500 years. And it's going to last 1,000 years. That's my, you know, like what blew my mind is when I first went to Europe and I walked in a cathedral, a Gothic cathedral with the stained glass, and I looked and, you know, it's just like, you know, the light and the magic, and it just sat me down in the seat, and it just blew my mind, and I thought, this is what I'm going for. So, back to Paducah Airport. I got shortlisted, and you know, you have these renderings. The building is not built, so you have to learn how to read blueprints and plans and all that. So anyway, this is my presentation, okay? So, like I said, people have no concept about how something's going to interact in a space. They don't know. They're not trained for that. They can't visualize anything. And what a committee does generally is a committee has this, okay, here's option A, here's option B, that's so-and-so, here's Guy Kemper's option C. And they look at this, and they look at this, and they look at mine, and they're like, you know, I like that one. But that's against me, because that's not the way I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking about the whole thing. I'm thinking about the psychology of the people that are using the space. I'm thinking about the light. I'm thinking about the palette, the color climate of the space. Thinking all these things. And so I want to show this. I want to play up my strengths when I give my presentation to the committee, which was on Zoom, which is totally stupid. Like, you know, like why they do it on Zoom? It's just, you know, but it's hard to sell because it's selling. You're selling something. And never forget that. Never think that this is going to get you the job. What's going to get you the job is your packaging, when I'm getting ready to show you my package, and also your sell job. So I say, oh my God, this is the greatest airport of all time. This is going to be a beautiful, and this is true. I mean, how you guys got this airport in Paducah, I do not know, but it really is an incredibly sophisticated, clean, elegant, wonderfully designed airport. It's really well done. So, you know, I'm saying this. It's like, you know, it's so inviting. It's so nice in this landscape architecture. Who's a landscape architect here? Man, they did a great job. You don't see trees like gardens like this walking into an airport, you know. And so, you know, I'm talking about how great it is. And then you come inside and look how nice it is, how clean, how just simple and sophisticated it looks. It does not look like you know, a tiny little airport with one airline in it. It looks like a nice airport. And look at the nice wood ceiling. Look at the floor, the neutral tones of the gray. And so here I am. I'm this fellow here I've walked in the door right here. I need to get my ticket maybe, check my bag, and then I need to get to the gate to wait for my plane. What am I thinking? Well, I'm thinking, get to the gate, get to the gate. That's what you think when you walk in an airport. An airport has its own psychology. It's very specific. So I'm not going to notice anything. I'm going to have blinders on until I get to the gate. And once I get to the gate, maybe I can chill out. I can, you know, appreciate some art. But probably I'm not going to see anything until I get to the gate. So the art site was over here, right here, where this Paducah thing is, you know, placeholder the architect put there. So I'm saying, now, I'm breezing by here, and I'm going to get, my idea is to get in this queue and get to the gate. So the other guys, they're proposing stuff, I think, in like a shadow box, in like a display case. Like this is going to be glass, and it's going to be a big box that they're going to put stuff in. And so I'm going to say bad stuff about that, right? I'm going to say, you know, I think we should get rid of this little rail. I think we should get rid of this, even this little inset. I think we should bring it out onto the wall. I think we need to get out there where when the guy's walking by here, the person's walking by here, it kind of goes smack, you know, like, oh, art, you know, because if we don't, they're probably not going to pay any attention, and they're not going to want to be told a story. They don't want this art stuff, telling stories and how interesting of a life I've led or whatever, you know. It's like, no, you just want pretty, beautiful something that goes with this really nice interior and that is going to be eye-catching. So I always give two choices. This is the first choice, flight pattern quilt, which is like, you know, it used to be you looked into the magazine and the plane magazine, you know, they had all these maps of the flight trajectories in the back, which were all these loopy lines, you know, looping, you know, like 1,000 coming out of Chicago and 1,000 coming out of, you know, New York. Well, I thought, I like those loopy lines. I thought and you know, it's kind of like quilts. And it's like this stitching in a quilt. And then I thought, you know, I really wanted this palette. I thought this is a great palette to work with the interior, with the you know, the finishes. And so I say this, and then I say, and then there's another option, which is kind of this bucolic landscape, kind of like the surrounding landscape around Paducah, which is this very intimate kind of, very human scale, small fields, little rolling hills. You know, it's really a beautiful landscape. Sunset, nightfall is what I call it, yeah. Titles are so important. I mean, I used to refuse to title things, and people hated it. Half the time, I swear, you get the job just by the title. I mean, they love the title. If they love the title, they want, oh, that's a great title. Let's choose that. So then, you know, you have to put it in the space. People have a very difficult time visualizing. You can't just show them the painting. So you have to stick it in there and show them why they're going to notice it, why it's going to look so good there. Here, I took a picture when I came to the site visit. This is what it looked like. And I put my design in. I like this one the best, so that's why I always show it the first, and that is what they picked. Paul and Cindy Ragland were on the selection committee. Great choice, guys. And then you show them other things you've done, because this is a big leap of faith, you know, that they're taking with you. If you don't come through, the people on the selection committee are going to be chopped liver, right? I mean, if I do something bad, who's going to get blamed? Not me. It's going to be the selection committee. You took $100,000 of our money and you bought this. Okay. So you don't, that's what they're thinking. You have to have compassion for that. So you have to assure them it's going to be great. You can do it. You're not going to go over budget. You're going to install it on time. You want to instill this confidence. So you show them other things like, oh, well, you know, a couple of years ago, I did this big mosaic project at Nashville Airport. And, you know, it turned out pretty nice. And I did this mosaic project at a hospital in Tulsa. And then you talk about how you make mosaic, you know, every piece, tens of thousands of pieces, all selected by hand. Oh, yeah. I mean, these artisans, now this is at Meyer Munich. They make my mosaics. And these people are mind-blowing. They're so good. They make me look so good. It's been a good business plan for me because, you know, I get the best people in the world to make my stuff. Another job. This is UK hospital. Clearwater, Florida. So, you know, you're jumping all over Nashville, Tulsa, you know, Chicago O'Hare Airport, because we could also make this out of glass. I think mosaic's a little better, but glass would work too. So, you know, you're saying Baltimore, Washington Airport, you're saying this stuff, and, you know, you can, you know, the faith is building. Like, this is not my first job. I talk a bit about how my approach to work, my philosophy, my technique, which I'm not getting into because it would take too long. But, you know, so I'm just showing different things. Then I start showing how much work this involves. I mean, it is insane. All the steps, the expertise of these people. This is where the glass has been painted. It's going to get rolled into this gigantic kiln and fired. So the vitreous enamels are fired into the glass. I have 40 people working for me to do this, right? Not me personally working for me, but there are 40 people. They will get it done. It will be done on time. It will be done right. This is the same thing coming out of the kiln after it's fired. More paint. It all looks like crap until you fire it. This is all like before it's fired. And now it's going in the kiln, and now it's out of the kiln. This is vitreous enamel. That's what it looks like after. So, you know, I just show all this just to show the complexity of and the beauty. I use a lot of prisms in my work these days. They throw these incredible rainbows all over the place. Oh, very important, the specifications. Everybody, you know, the architects, the critical thinkers, this is what they want to see. The material, size of panels, weight of artwork, technique, specifications of the size, the installation methods, the maintenance issues, the fabricator, lighting. Lighting is critical. Nobody ever thinks of lighting. And then one more time, you show the two choices and the budget, schedule of payments. You know, so that's that. So that's what, you know, that's kind of the way I do it. And I'm almost out of time, and I haven't even started my presentation. So, you know, I think, oh, I'll tell you this story. That's about all I have time for. This is how, you know, this is how bad it is. It's, you know, people think, oh, I'm going to be an artist. And, you know, these amateur artists and these other people they don't know, they think you're going to enter this glorious, creative, freedom, fun job. You know, and, you know, it is. It really is a great job. But it is also a shit job. I mean, it's not for babies. You have to be fearless. And you have to know business, because the reason people fail is not because they're not good artists. You know, it's easy to celebrate your gifts, but don't celebrate your gifts. That's like school. School is all about gifts, you know. The guy with the most talent looks the greatest in school. But when you get out of school, when you walk out of here, that evaporates instantly, because nobody cares. Nobody even cares that I didn't go to art school. Nobody cares that. You know, they want to, what can I do for you? What can he do for me right now? That's what people want to know. What has he done? And that's all that matters. So the reason I'm successful is because I spend 80% of my time on business and only 20% of my time on art. That's why I'm successful. Because new businesses, you're just like anybody else. If you're an artist, you're self-employed. I mean, it makes a whole lot more practical sense to work for someone else if you're an artist. You know, be a teacher. You know, work for an arts organization, art consultant, this kind of stuff. You know, that makes a lot more sense in many practical ways. You get a regular paycheck. It's a noble profession. It's a wonderful way to make a living. But if you want to be, you know, a solo flyer, then it's ruthless. And for example, I've never told this story. I thought, I got to tell more stories about what's happened to me. You know, like I had this job for the big airport, my first gigantic job. And this woman calls me. Again, it was just the start of the internet. But she calls me and she says, oh my God, we saw your piece at Orlando and we love it. And we're on a really tight schedule. What we need you to do, we're going to send you plans today. We want you to come in a week and tell us about what you think would work in this site. And then come 2 weeks later and present your designs. And then come 2 weeks after that, we have a huge meeting scheduled with the airport director, and we need you to come to this meeting in 5 weeks and present your designs with totally realized budget, everything figured out to present to the airport director. Can you do that? Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, I'll try. I mean, you know that's like 3 months of work, but you know, I'll do the best I can. So they sent me the stuff. I go the next week, and we're looking at there's 3 architects, the art consultant, a couple other people, and I'm like, I don't think this is really a great site. No, this is the site. We've had 5 meetings about this, and this is where we want to do it. Okay, well, tell me this. What is this line right here in front of this window on the plan? I said, that's not a soffit, is it? Well, the architects are, oh, yeah, shuffle papers and look at this, reflected ceiling plan. Oh, God, it is a soffit. It comes down, covers half the window. I said, oh, well, it's not a really good site, is it? No, it's not. I said, well, tell me this. What's going on with the ceiling? I cannot understand, because the ceiling was really crazy. And I said, I don't understand. What's going on there? Well, they didn't really know. And I said, well, why don't I spend the next 2 weeks making a model, building a model, so that I'll come back in 2 weeks. I'll have a model, and we can all look at the model, and we can figure out what's going on with the site, what's going on with the job, where we think would be good. Oh, I was supposed to tell you this first to grab you before I start the story. The phone rang one night, 11:30. I'm in bed reading. And phone rings, like, this is weird. I answer the phone. Guy, oh my God, I just did a terrible thing. Oh my God, I just sent you, I CC'd you on an email. But just delete it. Do not read it under any circumstances. Just delete it. It was terrible. I was like, okay. So this is the backstory leading up to the climax. So anyway, I come in 2 weeks later. We look at the model. I had 3 lines drawn on this wall. I said, this is where I think we should put the art. This is the basic composition. Oh my God, they loved it. They thought it was great. Great. Now, can you come back in 2 weeks with this meeting with the director and present something? I said, I'll have something. I don't know if it'll be any good, but you know, I'll have something. Oh, that would be great. That is great. Because in life, there's the boss. And then there are the ass kissers and the bootlickers. The boss is always good. The boss thinks logically. The boss is the boss. He doesn't have to kiss anybody's butt. He can make his own. He is not afraid. She is not afraid to make a decision. Everybody else is afraid to make a decision, generally. They want to let the boss make a decision. You know, like they hate it, and then the boss says, I like it. Oh, of course, it's wonderful. I love it. It's always the same. So anyway, they're very nervous about this meeting because they have been very negligent not scheduling the art component to this airport with enough time to make it. So they're under a lot of heat. So anyway, I came back 2 weeks later, and you know, I'm in the room and I show them the designs. Oh, yeah, these look good. Yeah, these look good. How much does it cost? I mean, you got the budget, right? I said, no, I do not have the budget. I mean, I think I'm very close, but literally the paint was drying on this on my way to the airport. So no, I do not have the budget, but I think I'm close. So, you know, they're looking out the windows. They're all, oh God, there he is. He just pulled in the parking lot, you know, and they're all scurrying around. And he sits down. I show him 2 or 3 designs. He looks at them carefully. This one's really good. I like this one. Good job. Thank you. Gets up, leaves. Oh, everybody's. Oh God. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Now, what about the budget? I said, I think I'm close. You know, I'll send this off to the Derricks and I'll get a price. You know. Well, no. So you need to do this the way you know. We can't come back and show them something different or say it's going to be different. I said, well, let's just get the price. You know, I think I'm close, even though it was a huge job. It was a total miracle that a couple of days later, I called and I said, man, I nailed it. I said, I can do it. I can do it for $225,000. Leaded. If you want it laminated, I can do it laminated at 90% as big, 90% size. Well, we want laminated. I said, okay, but no, you've got to do it at the full size. I said, no, I don't have the budget for that. No, Guy, we discussed this. We told you, we had this meeting, and you had to have everything ready. Now, you're going to lose the committee's confidence if you come back and say you can only do it at 90%. I said, I didn't even know you wanted laminated. I didn't even know how was I supposed to know you wanted laminated? Well, you should have made provisions for that. I'm like, I'm a freaking hero, lady. I saved your butt. And now you're coming at me. I'm just thinking, I'm being like super meek, super nice. well, gee, I don't think I can do that. I'm sorry. Well, then we'll just go with somebody else. Well, I'd love to do it, but, I totally understand. Excuse me? I get it. That's fine. I get it. That's fine. But, I can't, I'm already cutting it to the bone. I cannot do it any less. Guy, this is completely unacceptable. I said, and I don't think you understand. I'm telling you, we're going to give the job to someone. I said, I know, I get you. That's fine. Well, I said, look, here's the job. I sent it to you, email. Look at it. You can't even see that it's still 110, 120 feet long. You can't tell it even shrank 10%. You can't even tell it. Well, I'm going to have to think about this. Well, they got over that. And then, like 4 months later, we're way into the job, and they come up with this thing that I had told them the first meeting. I said, because this is always an issue. Number one, you need to tell the glazing sub, I'm going to, screw this stuff, and this is what I'm going to use to install it, and you need to make sure they're okay with that. It's not going to void the warranty on the curtain wall, the window. And I'm going to use this material. The curtain wall, actually, that you have is painted, it's powder coated, and that's going to be really expensive. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to just use the stock material that looks just like it, but it's not exactly the same. That's fine. So we talked about this 4 months into the job now. They tell me, okay, we decided that you need to use the powder-coated material. And we also decided, the glazing sub said that they're going to void the warranty if you install it. That you're going to have to pay the glazing sub to install it. And I said, well, I can't. Well, no, that's the deal. And I said, no, now look. I told you, if you might recall, at the very first meeting, we talked about this, and you said it was not an issue. And I told you, make sure with the glazing, clear that with the glazing sub, and then we talked about it again before we did the contract, and everything was fine. So now you're telling me I have to pay for this? Yes, it's going to cost you $30,000. I said, I can't do that. I don't have 30. You already screwed me down on the price so much that there is no wiggle room. I can't eat that. Well, that's what you need to do. I said, I can't do that. They said, well, we'll talk about this next week when you come to the airport. I said, oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. So next week I go in the airport. There's a conference room, a bunch of people, and they're just sitting in there like pit vipers. And I know they're going to do what they're going to do. And so I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to try to be nice and just tell them, hey, man, don't you remember we talked about this? And no, they can't remember anything all of a sudden. They don't remember any of these conversations we've had. And, Guy, you really should have anticipated this. And I'm like, okay, go back. What we just talked about, we talked about this twice already. So what do you mean? I did anticipate it. I saw it. I told you. I told you make sure. You said, okay, fine. I'm not going to pay. Then they pull out the classic. It's an honor, It's an honor. This job is an honor. This job, it's the biggest public art job that's ever been awarded in the state of Maryland. This job is going to make you so much money. You're going to get so much work from this job. All the classic BS that they always tell you when they're trying to get you to do something for nothing. And I said, no, I cannot do it. And then they said, again, 4 months into the job, they've already given me $100,000. They said, well, then we're going to give it to somebody else. And I was like, and that was like too much. Like, that was such a stupid bluff. It was like, they knew, I knew, the director loves it. Everything's great. And now they're threatening me that they're going to take the job from me. And I have $100,000 of their money. And we're already behind, you know, like we're rushing to get it done on time. It's like such a stupid bluff. And it's like I didn't mean to. I just like, yeah, right. You're going to take the job from me. Oh my God, they lost it. Like an artist does not do that. You suck up if you're an artist. That is your job. Artists are not paid change orders. That's called a change order. I said, this is called a change order. And just because I'm an artist doesn't mean I don't get paid money for change orders. Oh my God. They could not believe it. The egg was going to be on their face, not mine. They had told, no doubt, all their superiors that it was, you know, that they had told me and it was my fault and I would cover it. And now, here I am doing this. And so that's when the guy starts in on, Guy, we just expect people to be a little more competent at this level. And I lost it. I was like, bam, slam my fist. I lost my temper. I slammed my fist on the conference table. They all jumped out of their seat. I said, I told you I'm not paying for it. It's your mistake. You are paying for it. I stood up. I said, and if you don't want to give me the job, that's fine. I stood up, walked out the door, and slammed the door. And I got like an email 2 days later. That was completely inexcusable, your behavior at that meeting. We will discuss what's going to happen. I thought, yeah, I bet you will. And so then like 2 days after that is when the phone rang at 11:30 at night. And I said, why? She's like, I said terrible things. I said hateful things about you. I said, I'm sure. Oh, you can't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody what I've done. I said, I'm sure I've been called much worse. I mean, don't worry about it. I won't tell anybody. But why are we fighting? We both want the same thing. We both want this to be the most beautiful thing we can make it. You want the same thing I want. Why do you want to fight about it? And I read the email, of course. And, oh, it was terrible. I mean, she said all these lies about me. Oh, Kemper said, you know, but Kemper's so, he doesn't know what he's doing. And, you know, we told them this all along, and he said he would cover it. And, you know, we just have to keep preaching that and putting heat on his butt, and he will come up with the money. We'll threaten him that he's not going to, you know, we'll take the job from him. He's got to cave. But you know what? After that, like they paid for everything. They didn't ask me again. But they hated me. They hated me after that because artists are not allowed to do that, you know. So that's it. That's the end of my advice for how much fun you're going to have when you graduate.